Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm coming in hot with a new video, this time on my new DPS build with a Lava Sweep legendary random enchant that's currently broken and might get patched pretty soon. It's so broken, I simply mention it and I get invited into raids. I love it. So on that note, today we're going to be raiding Molten Core. We're going to get some gear upgrades and we're going to talk about why this legendary enchant is broken and why I was playing the build incorrectly. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to roll the entire raid at 10 times speed. In total, it took us about an hour and a half to clear, and it's a really easy raid. Especially when you're as overpowered as we are, you can just tank and spank all the bosses, or as they say around here, you zug.
Zug zug!
I had a pretty low item level, about 63 if I remember correctly. Definitely nothing crazy to get me invited into a raid, but they brought me. I guess I could also go over how the build works. Basically, it changes your Lava Lash into Lava Sweep, which now requires 2 hand weapons and is boosted by a whopping 70% by having Flame Tongue on your main hand. This new ability does damage as an AoE in front of you, kinda like Swipe, and procs a stack of Eruption, which increases crit chance of Fire Blast and Pyro Blast up to 25%. Additionally, after using Lava Sweep or Fire Blast, your Pyro Blast, Fire Blast, and Flame Shock all gain additional scaling and restore mana. So basically this is a fire focused enhancement shaman type of build where you're a melee attacker and stack attack power, and you also get a lot of instant casts that do most of your damage. It kind of requires a lot of, most of which you can't get at level 1. You can do like me and get a bunch of spell cards to skew things in your favor. Since most of the skills you can get at level 1 aren't good for my build, I use my dealer's deck to keep re-rolling and pick these 4 skills in about 5 minutes of going back and forth. Seal of Mastery for Seal of Wisdom, which makes it so I never have to worry about mana. Fire Totem Mastery for Searing Totem, as well as Magma Totem later on when it becomes available. I also picked up Fell Armor Mastery so I can get Demon Skin, and I'm using the random enchant Demonic Mind, which gives me 5% spell crit, and I can place a healing debuff on targets hit by spells. All of this costs 10% healing reduction received, which really isn't that important since you're not the tank. And finally, I picked Charge, since I like having the mobility in general, and don't need many of the other skills from the level 1 draft. I don't really have an exhaustive list of what's available at level 1, but the only thing that I was seeing at level 1 that could possibly be useful for my build was Fire Blast, but I tend to roll that fairly often, so I'm just going to hope for the best on that regard. The skill cards is where your build really comes together. You can get lucky and roll all these on your own during your build, but skill card makes it feel much more reliable to get what you want. After playing for a week or so, you're probably going to have plenty of cards. I already have a ton of them and I've only been playing for about 3 weeks maybe. On my skill cards, I put 2 of my core skills, Lava Lash and Flame Tongue Weapon. I don't have many gold cards, which you get by spending gold, but I got super lucky and pulled a Titan's Grip, which will mean an extra 200 attack power on my offhand if I can manage to get Rock Bite. This is going to be a massive DPS boost later on. I also carded Concussion Blow, which is an interesting stun that I may or may not use because it ties up one of my talent points. And then on my lucky cards, I picked Fire Nova, Flame Shock, and Rock Biter, which are all basically going to be core for the build, particularly Fire Nova and Flame Shock. If I had had Lava Burst, I probably would have taken that over Rock Biter, especially if I didn't have Titan's Grip to use Rock Biter, since we're going to be rolling with Flame Tongue Weapon on our main hand, and dual wielding is not necessary for this. I also included Thunderclap for the lows because it doesn't do much damage, but I do believe it gets me procs for Maelstrom Weapon, and Air Totem Mastery, which is the only other semi-useful one, which is going to give me and my party 10% melee haste, whenever I feel like dropping it, that is. So in this raid, you'll notice how I don't have some of the skills I mentioned. That is because I rolled them on my 2nd or 3rd specs that I unlocked for this character. During this run or build, I was trying to take advantage of the second half of the effects given by the legendary enchant, like those Fireball and Pyroblast procs, and a couple of other epic random enchants that would synergize with that. And while it was a fun time having all those procs going off all over the place, like I was basically just mashing buttons that were glowing on my screen, ultimately it didn't really do a lot of damage. Like I wasn't getting kicked out of the raid for being shit DPS, but I wasn't really dropping any jaws on it. I did, however, see someone on Twitch who was running Lava Sweep on a strength-based build, and they had both Titan's Grip and they were running Magma Totem, and they were doing well more than double DPS compared to what I was doing. Another problem that I noticed with this build that I ran in this video is that I had to dump too many talent points into the Mage Fire talent tree to get the most out of all the mage skills that I was using, and it wasn't leaving me with enough for my shaman talents. And well, I'll go over the talents in my next video, where I'll be prestiging one of my specs with those cards listed in this video, and I'll also be posting the whole 1 to 60 run as well, and the final build, and maybe take it into a raid if I can find one. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss that upcoming video. Peace out, homies.